Good morning, Phil Thatch here, and it is the last day of January 2019. It's cold outside, it's 26 degrees. I stopped by Curtain Pole Road for just a minute to see if the hooded mergansers were there, and they weren't. I checked the upper and lower ponds, and in just the brief amount of time it took me to hike to both of those ponds from the parking lot, which is not far for either one, I got really cold and decided I needed to do my bird photography today from the car. So I'm back at Harrison Bay State Park, second Thursday in a row here. And you know, I feel like kind of a wuss because as I'm driving, I'm hearing on NPR weather reports from all around the country where it's 15 and 20 and 30 below zero, and here I am at 26 above zero, and I still want to stay in the car. But that's fine. I bet the folks in 20 below zero aren't doing bird photography outdoors either. So I'm heading down towards camping area C, and I got a little different lineup today. I've got my D500 on the 500 f4 with the 1.4 teleconverter, and I've got the Z6 on the 200 to 500. So that's kind of the opposite of how I normally have it, and I haven't used my 1.4 teleconverter in a while. There's a lot more sun than there was last Thursday, so we will see how it goes. Pulling into camping area C now, so hope there's some birds here. Right off the bat, there's a little Carolina wren, one of my favorite birds. What a noisy and beautiful creature it is. And here is the first male cardinal of the video. I love that there's so many cardinals at this area, Harrison Bay Park, camping area C. This is probably my best blue jay picture I've ever made. I see them all the time, but they're hard to get a photograph of. They're smart enough to stay away from people. There's a cute little tufted titmouse. We see those all the time here at home at the feeder. This one is not being drawn in with bait. It's a fully wild bird. There's the classic northern cardinal male puffed up chest photo. This ended up being a immature pine warbler, but it looks so much different than a mature pine warbler that I couldn't tell what it was. And I thought it might have been several different birds. I thought it might have been a Nashville warbler or an orange-crowned warbler, and another warbler that only hangs around in California, but on closer inspection, it's just a young pine warbler. And I sent this image right here to East Tennessee Birding, and they agreed. Here's another male cardinal feeding on whatever it can find in the gravel. And there's a still of it. All the stills are made with the D500 and the 500 f4 and the 1.4 teleconverter. And all of the video is with the Nikon Z6 and the 200 to 500. There is one still image that's made with the Z6, and I'll let you know when that comes up. Here's a little more Z6 video of the immature pine warbler. I think it's feeding on a pine cone. I guess that's why they call it a pine warbler. Here's an immature red-headed woodpecker. Spots on the belly and not all of the red on the head is an indicator. And here's a fully mature red-headed woodpecker. This place is great for red-headed woodpeckers, and I'm telling you, 2 years ago I didn't see any there, and now they're all over the place. There's a female northern cardinal puffed up to stay warm, because it was, like I mentioned earlier, it was in the 20s. And here is a yellow-bellied sapsucker. This one's a female. Last week at this same location, not the same tree, but the same area, I got a male, but this one's a female. And here's a gray squirrel like you might see in your backyard if you live in the greater Chattanooga area. But later in the video is a kind of a special squirrel. There's a red-headed woodpecker still. And this is, I didn't get any stills of this northern flicker, but I did get some video of it for just a brief moment. There looks like a hamburger bun tie wedged in that tree. But that is, it's called a flicker, but it's a woodpecker. Here's the Z6 still, and it may be my favorite still of the entire video, a female northern cardinal hanging around on a picnic table. And here's video of the same bird. I was watching it from my car and it stayed there. I was able to get really close and I was like, I wonder why it's not scooting away when I come to see it. But somebody had put something on that table that was drawing that bird in. I had really good light. The sun was shining directly on it, not any weird angles. And I liked the way it had a little bit of a wind behind it. It was really puffing up those feathers on its head. But anyway, maybe my favorite bird in the whole video. I made some photographs and some video just a moment ago of a female cardinal here on this picnic table, and she was really enjoying this spot, so I tried to come over here and see what was going on. And somebody, not me, but somebody has put some bird seed on this table. So it wasn't me that was baiting the birds here at Harrison Bay State Park, but someone definitely was. And I was happy to reap the benefits of it though, because that was some pretty decent video, I think, and a couple of good photos. Okay, this is that special squirrel I was talking about earlier in the video. This is, I believe, an American red squirrel. It's much, much smaller than the gray squirrel from earlier in the video. Now, I'm not 100% sure this is an American red squirrel. It may just be a young gray squirrel, but I believe that's what it is. Heather and I did some research and kind of looked it up, and we both feel like this is probably an American red squirrel. So maybe you can leave a comment and let us know if we got it right or if we messed it up. And now we're back to the traditional thing here at Harrison Bay Park, Camping Area C, red-headed woodpeckers, which I can't stress enough how wonderful it is to be able to go there and see them so easily. It used to be one of the more difficult woodpeckers to see, and now it may be the easiest of them all, just because there's so many right here at this location that's very close to my house. This next shot coming up, not this one, although this one's just fine as well, but the next shot may be my favorite woodpecker shot in the entire video. Here's that shot. I like it because there's a lot of light and you can see the little wood shavings and chips easily in the video floating away as the red-headed woodpecker chops on this branch that it's on. It's hanging upside down almost directly over me as I was making this video, just pecking away, dusting up the place. What a cool shot. What a cool bird. I'm king of the mountain. See you later. One more red-headed woodpecker for you. They don't seem to care what kind of tree they're on. This one's on a pine tree, the other one was on a hardwood. And here's an immature immature red-headed woodpecker. You can see that it's not all red yet, and there's even some blue in the feathers on these. The adults have a little bit of blue to the feathers too, but not as much as these. Alright, this is the gear I used for today's video. That's a Nikon D500 with the 1.4 teleconverter version 2 attached to it, and all that's hooked up to the VR500 F4G Super Telephoto Prime. That was for stills, and now for video, and I think one still, I used the Nikon Z6, the FTZ adapter, and the Nikon 200-500 f5.6. Well, here's a lifer for me. On the way home from Harrison Bay State Park, as I was going by Harrison Bay, I looked over and saw this canvasback swimming amongst a bunch of American coots. And then I got this eastern phoebe in my subdivision as I was on the way home, and as soon as I got out of my car, the song sparrow that lives in these Leland cypress in my yard was singing to me. Okay, well, let's crank the car up. I have run out of coffee. It's a little bit after 11 now. I'm not sure exactly what time I got here, probably 9:30 or so. The sun's getting a lot higher in the sky, and it's not an overcast day, so I don't have my natural softbox that I like. So I think I'm going to call it. I'm going to head on out from Camping Area C here at Harrison Bay State Park. It's been a pretty good day. I didn't see any bald eagles like I did last week, but I saw lots of birds, and I think I got some fairly acceptable footage with the Z6 and the 200-500 of the of red-headed woodpeckers, which is what this place is becoming famous for, is red-headed woodpeckers here at Harrison Bay State Park and Camping Area C. So I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.